from RTO here. Welcome to live album ranking, and today it is a little bit different. We're not just concentrating on one band. I have found some albums of bands that have only ever released one live album. So I went digging in the archives and I've found 10 bands that have only released one live album. So I thought I would showcase them today. So coming in at number 10, we have a album from Fruupp, prog band, and this came out in 2022, but it was actually recorded back in December of 1975. And the band that recorded this album were Peter Farrelly on lead vocals and bass, Martin Foy on drums, John Mason on keyboards, and Vincent McClusker on guitar. And they open up the set with 3 songs from the modern Masquerades. They open up with Masquerading with Dawn, which is the name of the album, Mystery Night, and Misty Morning Way. Really, I'll explain about the quality, but it was just nice to hear these songs live, and they don't sound any different than they do on the studio albums, which are pretty impressive. Then they do a track from The Prince of Heaven's Night. It's All Up Now, which is really good. Lord of the Incubus from Future Legends. Then we go back to The Prince of Heavens for Annie Austere. We stay with that album for Knowing You, which is pretty good. And from The Perfect Wish, the Mega Perfect Wish, which is great. Back to the modern Masquerades for Gormenghast, which is an absolute epic. Then we have from the same album Sheba's Song, which is pretty cool. Decision from Future Legends, and Song of Thought, and On a Clear Day. Okay, it's not the best live album recording. It just sounds like it's just been done from a sound desk or something. It's a bit groggy in places, but it still showcases what a good live band Fruupp were. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 9, this is an album from 1997. It's called Happy the Man Live. Now, this again was recorded back in 1978. The band at the time were Rick Kennell on the bass, Coco Roussel on drums, Stanley Whitaker on guitars, Kit Watkins on the keyboards and flute, and Frank Nakara-Watt on saxophones. Opens up with a great track from the Crafty Hands album, A Service with a Smile. Brilliant version of it. It just sounds like they're playing it in the studio. Starborn from the debut Happy the Man. Absolutely cracking track. Back to the Crafty Hands for Open Book. Hidden Moods from Happy the Man. Got Morning Sun, and I Forgot to Push It from Crafty Hands, along with It's Ibby It Is, and Nasori, The Moon and the Singing Eye. All these tracks come from the Crafty Hands. I Carve a Chariot on the Carousel, Stealing Pipes. Then they go back to the Happy the Man for Knee Bitten Nymphs in Limbo. Brilliant. And then the brilliant version of Mr. Mirror's Reflection on Dreams. What a little set that is. It's not the best recordings, but they're very rare recordings of these bands, and it's great to listen to. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, coming in at number 8. Now this is recorded round about the right time. Not sure where, but it was recorded in 1988, and it's Heavy Metal Kids and Live and Loud. The band at the time were Ronnie Thomas on bass, Keith Boyce on the drums, guitars Barry Paul and Jay Williams, and the vocals Gary Holton, who was in A Wiedersehen Pet, of course. So they opened this up one from 4 songs from the album Kirsch, Chelsea Kids, Squalor the Inn, Jackie the Lord and She's Now Our Angel, raw, raucous, excellent little tracks. From the Anvil Chorus, The Cops Are Coming, which is one of my favourite tracks by this band. It's the same from the Heavy Metal Kids album. And Ain't Nothing But a House Party, which is, of course, a Jay Giles band from the Bloodshot. Now, this album is very raw. Okay, again, the recording's not brilliant, but it's quite nostalgic. And this is the only live recording I've found of this band. It sounds like it's done in a pub. It's got so much atmosphere. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 7. Now, this is a album from Blue Murder. It's called Screaming Blue Murder, dedicated to Phil Lynott. And it was the final release, and it was only initially released in Japan, but it came out via iTunes, and it was recorded in Tokyo in December 1993. Playing on here are John Sykes, lead vocals and guitar, Marco Mendoza on bass, Tommy Osteen on drums, Nick Green on keyboards. So most of these songs come from the 2 Blue Murder and a few Thin Lizzies thrown in. So we start off from the debut from the Blue Murder album, A Bit of Riot, great opening track. Then we have Cry for Love from Nothing But Trouble, better than the studio version actually. Then we have Cold Sweat, Thin Lizzy from Thunder and Lightning, it's okay. Billy from Blue Murder, it's okay. Save My Love, better than the studio version. Jelly Roll, which is one of my favourite tracks by Blue Murder, from Blue Murder. Another great track is We All Fall Down from Nothing But Trouble, probably one of the best songs on that album. Please Don't Leave Me. Now, this is a song written by Phil Lynott and John Sykes. It was John's first solo single, and it's pretty good. Then he does Still of the Night because he co-wrote that, the Whitesnake song. And then he does from Bad Reputation, Dancing in the Moonlight, It's Caught Me in the Spotlight, it's okay. This isn't a bad live album, but the other thing that really annoys me that John Sykes goes on that he was a big part of Thin Lizzy. Okay, he came in and recorded Thunder and Lightning because Noe White had left, but that's about it. And it's not the lineup of Blue Murder that we all love, which is Tony Franklin and Carmine Apiece. It's the other version of the thing, and they'd already left. It's not bad, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 6. Now this is a live album by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, and it was recorded in Morocco, Wales and London, and it's called No Quarter. It features lots of people. So the songs on here, most of these of course are Led Zeppelin songs. So they open up from Presence, Nobody's Fault But Mine. These are all sort of using the mystique thing that Robert Plant was into. It's pretty good. From Led Zeppelin 2 we get Thank You. A really stripped down short version of No Quarter from Houses of the Holy. Friends from Led Zeppelin 3, which is beautiful. Then we have a new song called Yalla. It's pretty good. It's got the Morocco sort of sound, like City Don't Cry. That's pretty good. Then they do not the best version of it, but it's not too bad, Since I've Been Loving You from Led Zeppelin 3. A wonderful version of Battle Evermore from Led Zeppelin 4. Absolutely brilliant. Wonderful one from a new song that they put together. Then we've got Wah Wah, that's not too bad. Then we have two great songs done very well from Led Zepp 3. That's The Way and Gallows Pole. Absolutely brilliant versions. A brilliant version of Four Sticks from Led Zepp 4. Kashmir is really good on here. It's got that mystique Arabic sort of feel to it. I absolutely like this album. There's some really weird stuff on it, but there's some absolute belters on here, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, then coming in at number 5. Now this is a live album from the rock band from America called Shinedown, and this is their Somewhere in the Stratosphere. It was released in 2011, and it came out and it was recorded at Washington State, Kansas City in 2010. So I'm playing on here, we've got Brent Smith on lead vocals, Zach Mars guitar, Eric Bass on bass, Barry Kirch on drums. And we've got Brandon the Bears Alanis, drum tech on xylophone vibes and shakers, etc. We've got Ryan Ashurst who does some bass as well, and Alan Price second guitar. So they come on to this little bit of music, and it's called Scary Fairy, which goes straight into two great songs from their Sound of Madness album. Sound of Madness itself is brilliant, and Devour, really strong songs. If you like good rock, there is a video of their studio albums on here. Then we go to the Us and Them album for I Dare You, cracking rock song that is. And then we go back to the Sound of Madness for a couple of more songs. Cyanide, Sweet Tooth, Suicide, killer track. If Only You Knew, another brilliant track off that album. Then they do Diamond Eyes, which was the single they released in 2010. Then from the Leave a Whisper album we have a bit of 45, excellent track that is. Burning Bright from Leave a Whisper as well. Back to the Us and Them for Heroes, and then we end up with one of my favourite tracks by them from the Sound of Madness, The Crow and the Butterfly. Her name is Alice, and we have Save Me for Us and Them. Left Out from Leave a Whisper, and then they do a wonderful version of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Simple Man. Fly from the Inside from Leave a Whisper, and Second Chance. Then on the second disc, it's an acoustic set of the same songs, which is pretty good. It's a really good album. I do like the heavy album. The live raunchy stuff is brilliant, and even the acoustic set sounds good. So it's an all-round brilliant live album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 4. Now I was surprised that this band has only ever released one live album, and it's the Smiths and Rank. It was released in 1988 after the band's breakup, but it was recorded in 1986 at the National Ballroom in Kilburn. So of course it features Morrissey, Johnny Marr, Andy Rourke and Mike Joyce, with Craig Gannon doing some rhythm guitar for them. And the first track is the title track from The Queen Is Dead. It's a really good version of it as well. I do like that track, and it's a very good live version. Then we have a single, Panic. Everyone likes that one. Then we have the brilliant Vicar in a Tutu from Queen Is Dead. Great track. Ask, another single. And then they do this little medley, which first track is his latest Flame, which is an Elvis song, of course. And then they go into Rushmore Ruffians from Meat is Murder. The Boy with His Thorn in the Side, a classic song from The Queen Is Dead. Excellent track. Then we have another of these little medleys. We have Rubber Ring, which was the B-side of the single The Boy with the Thorn in His Side, and What She Said for Meat is Murder. Up next is It Really So Strange? Now this was a B-side of a song called Sheila Take a Bow. The brilliant Cemetery Greats from The Queen Is Dead. Then London, which is a B-side of Shoplifters of the World Unite. Then we go back to the Queen Is Dead album for I Know It's Over. The Days Train, which is the B-side of Panic, and then Still Ill from the Smiths album. Big Mouth Strikes Again, another great track from The Queen Is Dead. It's a great live album. Very solid. Played well. There's some great playing on here. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.3. Okay, coming in at number 3, we have another band I was shocked to have only ever released one live album, and it's Stereophonics. It captures their 2005 world tour, and it's called Live from Dakota. Playing on here is Kelly Jones on vocals and guitars, Richard Jones on bass and guitar, Xavier Whaler on drums, touring musician Coney Kirkham on their keyboards. They open up this one with Superman and Doorman, both from Language, Sex, Violence, Other. Superman's a great opening. Well, I don't know if it's the opening track because it's recorded from lots of places, and it's brilliantly done. Then we go to the Word Gets Around album for 1,000 Trees. Killer version of that. Then we go back to the Language, Sex and Violence for Devil. Then we have Mr. Writer, Just Enough Education to Perform. These songs are so good live, much heavier. Pedal Pusher from Sex, Language and Violence, probably the best version of that. Deadhead from the same album, brilliant. These are all good tracks. Maybe Tomorrow from the You've Got to Go There to Come Back. Definitive version of that song. They're so heavy. Then from Performance and Cocktails, The Bartender and the Thief. Brilliant version of that one as well. Local Boy in a Photograph, one of my favourite songs from Word Gets Around. Up next is Hurry Up and Wait from Performance and Cocktails. Madam Helga from You've Got to Go to Get There to Come Back. Vegas 2 Times from Just Enough Education to Perform. Another solid version of that. Then we have we have a Carrot Cake and Wine, which is the B-side of 1,000 Trees. I've never heard this song because I've not got the single, and I thought it was a brilliant track. Really driving riffs in it. I'm Alright, You Gotta Get There to Come Back, the title track, brilliant. And then they do a track called Jane. Again, it's a previous unreleased Stereophonics track. It's the only place you'll hear it is on this live album. Too Many Sandwiches from Word Gets Around. Killer version of that. Traffic, again from the Word album. Then we go back to the Performance and Cocktails for Just Looking. And then to end it all, we have Dakota itself from Language, Sex and Violence, Other. This is a well put together live album, considering that it's recorded from highlights of the tour. It's a wonderful package, and you don't tell that it's from different shows because the sound is great all the way through. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, coming in at number 2 is from a live album that came out from Dishwalla, which is an American band, and it's called Live. Greetings from the Free Flow State, which was recorded in 2003. Now this was written at the Canyon Club Theatre in California. The band on this is J.R. Richards, vocals and guitars and keyboards, Rodney Browning Craven's guitar and vocals, Scott Alexander bass, Pete Maloney on drums, Jim Woods on keyboards. Again, another band that I've done a video back in a long time ago, but these are a great band. So the first track on here is a track off their album, and you think you know what life's about, Stay Awake. It's a great track on the studio, but the live version is killer. Then from Orpaline, Mad Life, which is one of my favourite tracks by the band. Once in a While from the Life album again, brilliant. From Orpaline, Home, brilliant stuff. This is good. Go and give these a listen. Moisture from Pet Your Friends, best version of that song. Angels or Devils from Orpaline, very good. Counting Blue Cars from Pet Your Friends, Somewhere in the Middle, another stunning version from Orpaline. Every Little Thing's from Orpaline, that is another good track. Gift from Pet Your Friends, outstanding. Haze from Pet, some of my favourite songs on this live album. So Much Time closes the thing from the end. You think you know what life's about. This is a brilliant live album from a very underrated band. Go and check them out. I love this live album. I do play this a lot, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. But in this little collection I found number one, a band that are just absolutely killer band for me, and it's the band 10. And this is a live album they released called Never Say Goodbye, and it was recorded between 1997 and 1998 on the Name of the Rose and the Robe tours. The band at the time is the magnificent Gary Hughes on vocals. On guitars, the legendary Mr. Vinnie Burns. Rhythm guitars, John Halliwell. On keyboards, Ged Rylands. On the bass, the wonderful Mr. Steve McKenna. And on drums, the ever-present Greg Morgan. This opens up with a 9-minute track, the title track from The Robe, which is an absolutely killer track. Vinnie Burns' guitar work is super, and it's from The Robe. We stay with The Robe for Bright on the Blade. Absolutely killer track. Two great tracks to open up. Then we go to The Name of the Rose for Wildest Dreams, another outstanding track. Then we have The Torch from the 10 album, or X. Stay with that album for Yesterday's Lies and Flames. Absolutely wonderful track. The Rainbow from The Name of the Rose. A stunning track. Some great playing on that one. Great vocals from Gary. Absolutely top drawer. Then we have this little instrumental called The Crusades, which is from 10. That's brilliant. Don't Cry from In the Name of the Rose. Good Night Saigon from Name of the Rose. Brilliant versions of that. The Wonderful Arcadia from The Robe. Then they have You're in My Heart, which is a song off an EP called You're in My Heart. Not on the albums, but it's very good. Then we have The Loneliest Place in the World. Another epic from 10. Absolutely marvellous live. 10 Fathoms Deep from The Robe, another brilliant track. After the Lover's Gone from 10's on here was Stay With Me. Standing the Edge of Time. You can't get any better than this. They sound so good from The Robe. Fly Like an Eagle, again from The Robe. A little drum solo. Just a minute and 18, but it's pretty good, which goes straight into Battle Lines from The Robe. It's a good intro to that song. Then we have one of my favourite tracks, the Pharaoh's Prelude, Ascension to the Afterlife from The Name of the Rose. Stunning. Short but stunning. Wait for You from the Name of the Rose, again. Absolutely killer track. The title track from that album, which is wonderful. Then they do some studio stuff. Bad Moon Rising, which is from the You're in My Heart EP. Then they do a little acoustic-y version of Venus and Mars from the Robe EP. If You're Only for a Day, which is from the You're in My Heart EP. And Give Me a Piece of Your Heart from the Robe EP as well. Because they basically put the two EPs on the end of this. Now, it's an excellent album from start to finish. The performance, the live stuff is just killer. Proves what such a good band, and then you get some stuff from the EPs. It's a great package, and I love this band and I love this album, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. So there we go. There's some unusual albums and some bands that you've probably not heard of, but Dishwalla and Shinedown, I have done album rankings. Just go and find them. They are there. Okay, coming up next is a one-off album, and it's a collaboration between two bands, and it's called FFS, which is Franz Ferdinand and Sparks. So that's what's coming up next. So bye for now.